Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out Am I the A-hole? Story 1. AITA for telling my 23F friend 23F I felt uncomfortable after a conversation that she started. BCKGRND info. I don't have a relationship with my G-parents because they were abusive to my mother and repeatedly kicked us out of their house and would not speak to us for years during my childhood. As an adult, I don't have contact with them, but my mother has recently begun to be in contact with them. I don't have hard feelings towards them, but I don't want to be in their presence. On a vacation to Vegas, my bestie randomly decided to bring up a conversation of grandparents and old age and asked me who was going to take care of mine as they were getting old. I replied ig, to which she replied you're next. I replied no, I'm not, my mom can handle that. Rather than ending the conversation, I awkwardly continued to answer her questions and listen to her talk about how lonely people are when they are old. Conversations about them, laughing about past memories I've had with them, that were positive is fine, but that isn't what this was. I thought it was insensitive to tell me that I was next to take care of people who neglected me and my mother. Didn't want to ruin the vacation by getting upset with her, so after we got home from our Vegas I took some time to think if it was really necessary for me to bring this up to her. I thought that since she was my friend, and probably would not mean to intentionally make me feel uncomfortable, that I should let her know how I felt in that moment so that she wouldn't accidentally offend me again by inferring that I should take care of people that have essentially abandoned me before. After I sent her a voice text explaining why I was upset/weird that she would ask that question and why I have chosen not to be in contact with my parents, she responded defensively, asking me whether it was her tone or something specific that she said that upset me. She said that she had nothing to do with the feelings that came from that question. I couldn't understand why she brought it up in the first place when she acknowledged that she knew there were issues between my grandparents and me. She said that she was sorry if she triggered me, even though I said she did trigger me and that she just would never mention them again. I replied okay. She now has not talked to me for 3 days. Keep in mind we literally talk every single day of every single hour through text. Was I wrong for telling her my feelings? How is it that now she is avoiding me or mad at me? At this point I wish I never said anything, but at the same time, her reaction is kind of letting me know that she's not the friend that I need right now. If she came to me and said that I hurt her feelings, I wouldn't question her. Instead, I would believe that whatever I said or did hurt her and try to make amends. I know I shouldn't expect the same things out of others that I would do, but we have been friends for 10 years. I thought she would have a little bit more compassion. Story 2. AITA for being rude to my 41M child's instructor in front of her other clients. I signed my 6-month-old daughter to this baby gym to help develop motor skills. My wife and I had beforehand researched the baby gym's facilities and how it could help our baby and decided to enroll her. The first session was last week and it was no surprise that I was the only dad there. The session was mainly an introduction and the instructor was explaining the program and its various stages. At my turn during the ice-breaking, I introduced myself and my daughter and told them that I was excited to see my daughter interacting and developing through this program. Other mothers asked about why my child's mother wasn't here and I simply told them she was working and couldn't be here. My wife is a neurosurgeon and was on call almost every weekend, and that day, Saturday, was no different. I knew she would have liked to join since she finds the whole idea of a baby gym adorable. Some mothers and the instructor were making small talk and asking more about my wife and why she couldn't be here yet again. I just explained that she is working in healthcare, didn't tell her specific role in healthcare since I thought it didn't matter, and we can't choose our schedules most of the time. Next session was a few days ago, same thing happened. People asked why my wife wasn't here and subtly hinting that I am being emasculated by doing this. Instructor then chimed in saying surely your wife can find the time to be here and not work as nurse and maybe you can go find a job. I was taken aback by this but kept my cool. I explained that my wife is an attending neurosurgeon working in a very busy trauma center and I am a cardiac intensivist/anesthesiologist working in a hospital that specializes in cardiothoracic care. Since I'm in a sub, I do not do regular calls nor do I need to work weekends unless an emergency case needs to be done, hence why I am the primary carer for my daughter. I told her I do not appreciate her critiques about my life and especially something so stupid as gender roles. I fathered my daughter so I had a right to be here. I told this to my wife. She is furious and wants to cancel the subscription. She's siding with me on this. I told this to my mother and she gave an interesting point that the ladies might have felt threatened for their safety since a man is around their babies and themselves, but I have not given any kind on indication that I would be a threat to anyone, and it's just absurd that they might be thinking this just because I am a man. The gym walls are made of glass so people from the outside can see. There are CCTVs everywhere and every time I'm there are at least 20 plus people around. Ruminating over this, I feel bad about how I handled that and if I be apologizing instead. My brother told me to post here for clarity. TLDR, mothers felt uncomfortable that I was the parent around with my child at a baby gym. Story 3. AITA for not letting my friend come visit me next month. I have a very close friend, I'll call her Melissa. Melissa is going through a very rough time right now. Her marriage of more than 15 years is ending. She's been married since she was 18, together with her husband since they were 15. Their marriage has become very toxic. Melissa is one of those ride or die friends and I recognize how lucky I am to have her. Next month, she's moving across country, to go be with family. She and her husband are doing a trial separation. She's going to be driving from the west to the east coast. I live right in the middle, and I am on her way. She asked if she can come visit me for a few days to break up the drive. Usually, I'd say no problem. I'd welcome her with open arms. Only I'm very pregnant. I'm due in October. I don't know for sure when I'll go into labor, does anyone, but I am due right around the time of her trip. I also don't love the idea of visitors at my home after giving birth. Uneasy face. I told Melissa I am very sorry and I'd love to see her, but with my pregnancy, I can't. This was about a week ago. She said okay. Last night, Melissa reached out to me. She told me she was very hurt I won't let her come visit, that she would allow me if she was in my shoes. I began to feel very guilty. My husband is firm, he does not want any visitors, but he is ultimately leaving it up to me. AITA? Story 4. AITA for calling my nephew a dink. My sister, 30F, has 2 kids. I, 33M, live far from them and I don't often get to visit due to my limited funds to travel. Usually I get on FaceTime if I wanna see them and I know they're at my parents' house. Just easier to get everyone at once. Just after my first nephew was born I was talking to my mom on FaceTime as she was babysitting. I said babysitting? With kid A? That dink. I kept it, to what I thought, was a jokey tone. But my mom freaked right out. Said it was rude, disrespectful, and proceeded to curse me out for even thinking of saying that. And by that I mean calling him a dink. I didn't think it was anything bad. Just a cute little tease to my nephew. He's only 1.5 now, and I don't think he even comprehended it at the time when he was younger. My mom said to never say it around my sister as she would similarly lose her mind on me. I thought I was just being the goofy uncle teasing my nephew. Hell, for most of my life my dad called me Punky Brewster, and I had zero idea who she was until I got significantly older and was like, WTF, why were you calling me a girl? He still calls me that to this day. He'll answer a FaceTime call and go, hey Punky, what's up? I was annoyed for all of a minute when I found out who Punky Brewster was and then I got over it. To my parents' point, because my dad also said not to call my nephew a dink, my sister has never liked me all that much. She was definitely angry at me a lot throughout childhood. I was never a bully to her, never really teased her intensely, never pulled pranks on her. I mostly left her alone because I was afraid she'd retaliate physically. Our relationship has improved as we've gotten older. So AITA for calling my nephew a dink? Story 5. AITA for telling my sister she shouldn't introduce her kids to her new boyfriend. My sister split from her husband, in July 2023, and it was messy. He's an alcoholic, she's a serial cheater. She was caught and publicly outed and things got worse from there. They recently made it official with a separation agreement and selling their home. They were together 15 years and have 2 kids, F9 and M7. I have been involved throughout the process trying to support both of them and the kids. I helped draft a separation agreement and have mediated many disagreements. He's been escalating with his drinking with a few major incidents that have put the kids in danger. CPS, Child Protective Services, was called and opened a file. He just had his work Christmas party, drank too much and made a fool of himself, then drove home drunk. His neighbor found him in his car asleep again, for the 3rd time. He finally accepted that he needs some help and admitted himself to a 30-day treatment program where he has limited contact. To be fair, my sister helped him call his doctor and then found a spot that had an opening available. I did praise her for this and validated her feelings. Meanwhile, my sister has had multiple situationships since the split, including continuing the relationship with the man she was cheating on her husband with for 2+ years up until about 2 months ago. Me and my family tried to tell her that this relationship wasn't healthy, but she would defend him and tell us that we don't know him fully. This man was verbally and emotionally abusive. When out together, strangers in public came up to her to make sure she was okay. She has a track record of cheating and having terrible judgment in men. She has now gotten into a relationship with someone, 8 weeks, that has gotten serious, Facebook official. She is saying she is in love and wants to introduce her kids to him. I want her to be happy, but I think it's inappropriate for her to introduce the kids to her boyfriend at this time, while their father is away. I don't understand why it needs to happen now and she can't wait a little bit in order to have a conversation with their father that's healthy, open, and honest. He's super vulnerable right now and this might be a trigger for him. He is a good father and a good person when he is sober. She feels like she's been vindicated about his drinking destroying the marriage, disregarding what she did. She says she's done living her life around others' expectations and that she's going to do what is best for her. My point is that it could be harmful to the kids to be introduced to a person they could see as a father replacement. They already have enough going on. Her point is it's none of my business and that she is going to do what is best for her and that I'm an asshole for telling her that this choice would be about her and not about her kids. So am I the asshole? That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.